Welcome back. You're watching Road to Lok Sabha 2024, our election special show on Mirror Now, where we talk about everything beyond politics, the concerns of the voters, and how the interesting battles that are panning out in the general elections that are taking place. Phase 7 is all set on the 1st of June, and we're talking about Odisha here, an interesting political battle that's going to be fought between the Bharatiya Janata Party and the BJP. And let me get you key contests that are being seen in Phase 7. In Mayurbhanj, you have Anjani Soren of the JMM versus Sudha Mandi. That is something, a crucial constituency that we're seeing in Mayurbhanj, the issues that pertain to Odisha, and of course, that whole political tussle that has been playing out in the state between the two former allies. Apart from that, Kendrapada has Jayant Panda, and of course Siddharth Swarup Das of the Congress Party. They are fighting it out against each other on the constituency of Kendrapada. So important battle that's panning out there as well. Let me go to my guests. Tushar Gupta, you know, Odisha is seeing, of course, BJP versus BJT. You just, in fact, had the Prime Minister tweet a short while back about Naveen Patnaik's health and how that video of his hand shaking went viral, and how there could be, a probe that could be done whether, on Naveen Patnaik's health. That political tussle playing out very interestingly in the state of Odisha. That is one, perhaps, swing state that will be crucial to be, looked out for in Phase 7.
Look, Shreya, a very interesting thing is playing out in Odisha. Since we all have been so focused on the general election, we seem to have forgotten that there are two big states going for state assembly elections as well, which is Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. And for all we know, Odisha could see, it's a slim chance right now. It's a very long odd. But so people, when they are voting, they're looking at the welfare schemes of the Prime Minister, his overall national leadership, but they're also factoring in the health of Naveen Patnaik, who's probably not in the prime of his health anymore, unfortunately. So he's been a long servant of Odisha, just 80 days short of being the longest serving CM as a record. But the problem is the Pandian factor, the anti-Pandian factor is pretty strong in Odisha. If I tell you what I've spoken to my political friends in Odisha, they say it's all about people wanting Pandian to be out because he is acting as the pseudo chief minister. And that is something the people cannot accept. And that is why the Prime Minister's pitch that we'll have a CM from the soil, from the state of Odisha, that is resonating amongst the voters. But at the national level, you're looking at 21, 23 seats. I think the BJP is in pole position to win at least 15 this time. They are going to win 15, up from 8 or 9 last time.
Pratim Ranjan Bose?
Yeah.
Okay, Pratim Ranjan Bose, the BJP is, of course, exuding confidence in winning Odisha, and they're in fact looking to sort of balance those seats out in Odisha, whatever they lose perhaps in Maharashtra or other states. But Tushar talked about the Pandian factor, that being like people being against it. Do you not think people will talk more about the legacy and the work that Naveen Patnaik has left behind rather than, the Pandian factor coming in?
So, first of all, insofar as Maharashtra is concerned, I think BJP will not lose much. It is BJP's allies will lose. Secondly, in Odisha, it is going to be I do agree with Tushar, it is going to be very interesting what happens in the assembly election. Lok Sabha is almost decided that BJP is going to make a huge gain. Vidhan Sabha it's a case of Naveen's legacy versus Modi. Now, here also, if we notice the campaign trail, it is only 1 or 2 days ago that Mr. Modi said, took reference of his friendship with Mr. Patnaik, and then he said that he can sacrifice that for the sake of development. So it seems that the BJP has been shifting gear at the end. Probably they know what has happened, or they have an idea that what is happening in the assembly election. And the problem, the one weakness that Mr. Patnaik has is surely Mr. Pandian's presence, because with that comes in this insider-outsider formula, and Odisha is one state where it works. At least in the past, we haven't seen this kind of a thing. So it has to be, we have to watch it, how it unfolds.
Sure. Piyush, can I get you in at this point and understand the issues that concern the voters in Odisha? One, of course, being, who next after Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik? That is perhaps something that people are looking at. But apart from that, what is it that is concerning the voter in Odisha?
Shreya, first of all, in Odisha, we have done the exit poll extensively, and what we have seen is it's a beautiful example of cross-voting. We have clearly seen that people, who have voted for BJD for the assembly election, when they came out and we have asked कि भाई आपने किसको वोट किया, they said कि for the state assembly election में किसको वोट किया, they said कि BJD, and for Lok Sabha they said BJP. That was clear example. That was a clear-cut scene there. Now, like coming to the issues, yes, Naveen Patnaik's declining health, yes, that is an issue, because the big question there is who is next. So what we have seen is, yeah, VK Pandyan's, he is considered as an outsider because like he comes from a Tamil Nadu. Yes, he do consider as an outsider, and there we have seen leaders like Dharmendra Pradhan, who is gaining some, maybe he can be a big leader after Naveen Patnaik. So yeah, so that is one major issues. But like apart from that, in the state election, we have seen the all election in the name of Naveen Patnaik. So there's only one thing in the what's the major factor which works in the favor of BJD, that is Naveen Patnaik. But yes, BJP is going to gain some seats. So what we see, retention and improvement for the BJP.
Okay, that is something, of course, the BJP is closely watching and hoping for. But let me shift our focus now from Odisha to Himachal Pradesh, another crucial state that is going to poll all seats, in fact, of the hill state going to polls in phase 7. And we'll try and connect with my colleague Poonam, who is joining us with, I believe, some voices of the people of Himachal Pradesh. Poonam, अगर आप मुझे सुन पा रही हैं, तो हमें बताइए कि लोगों के क्या कंसर्न्स हैं वहाँ पे हिमाचल में, क्या वोटर कंसर्न्स हैं जब वो फेज 7 में सैटरडे को 1 जून को वोट देने जाएंगे, तो क्या कुछ जहन में रख के जाएंगे?
जी बिल्कुल, देखिए हिमाचल की अगर हम बात करें और यहाँ पे जो है 4 लोकसभा सीट है हिमाचल में और 6 यहाँ पे विधानसभा सीट से भी बाई इलेक्शन होने जा रहे हैं। तो और अगर बात करें बीजेपी की, तो कहीं ना कहीं मोदी जी के काम को ध्यान में रखा जा रहा है। इनका कहना है कि जिस तरह से धारा 370 की बात करें या फिर मंदिर बनवाने, राम मंदिर की बात करें, तो कहीं ना कहीं वो सारे इश्यूज जो है लोगों के दिमाग में है। तो आइए जानते हैं किन मुद्दों को ध्यान में रख के वोट करेंगे। यंगस्टर मेरे साथ है, तो आइए जानते हैं किन मुद्दों को ध्यान में रख के आप वोट करेंगे।
जो हमारी जॉब के लिए, हमारे विकास के लिए काम करेंगे, हम इस पार्टी को वोट करेंगे। अब जैसे हमारे यहाँ जिन्होंने जो हमारे मैनिफेस्टो पे लिखा है, जो हमारे यूथ के लिए, फ्यूचर के लिए देखेंगे, उनको देख के हम वोट करेंगे।
आप किन मुद्दों पे ध्यान के रख के वोट करेंगे 1 जून को?
जैसे जॉब के लिए हो गया और विकास के।
आप किन मुद्दों को ध्यान में रख के? आप किन मुद्दों को?
विकास के। मोदी विकास कर रहे हैं, विकास कराएंगे, इसके हम
मोदी जी विकास कर रहे हैं, आप किन मुद्दों को ध्यान में रख के वोट करेंगे?
मोदी।
तो ये हमारे साथ है हिमाचल के लोग, जिनका साफ तौर पे कहीं ना कहीं देश का विकास पहले इनके ध्यान में है कि विकास को ध्यान में रख के ये वोट करेंगे। और इनका ये भी कहना है कि मोदी जी विकास करवाएंगे, तो कहीं ना कहीं पूरा जो है विकास के नाम पे जो है लोगों के जहन में जो है विकास सबसे पहले है। और यूथ की अगर हम बात करें, तो उनका ये कहना है कि जो हमें जॉब ध्यान में रख के हम वोट करेंगे कि हमें ज्यादा से ज्यादा जॉब मिले, अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिले जॉब की।
जी पूनम, तो विकास एक अहम मुद्दा है for the voters of Himachal Pradesh. My colleague Poonam, of course, getting us those voices from ground. But Tushar, let me come to you with the interesting political battle that's playing out in the Hill State. And that is something which is closely watched, which is also something which is largely talked about when we talk about Himachal Pradesh. It's the Mandi political battle that we're talking about. It's Kangana Ranaut versus Vikramaditya Singh. How do you see that fight, that interesting fight really panning out? There is a political war of words that has been happening between the two since the very start. How do you see that really moving forward?
Shreya, in 2019, Himachal Pradesh, all the 4 seats of Himachal Pradesh were called out in the first 15 minutes of the counting, 1-5. I think the situation would be quite similar this time as well. I think Himachal Pradesh, it's a no-brainer. It's going to be 4-0 to the BJP. Kangana Ranaut beat Anurag Thakur, beat any other candidate. I think they all are going to win. and they're going to win big because Himachal, that way is very clear. It's always voted where the national sentiment is. Even in 2009, when the BJP did not do that well, it did well in Himachal, and now the Modi factor is huge. People want development. There's a lot of infrastructure that's coming to Himachal. There's a lot of employment opportunities being generated, even in the foothills of the Shivaliks. To give you one example, what the people, however, have seen is since the Congress took over, it's a fractured Congress government. It's a Congress government that did not do much for the people after the devastating floods from last year. In fact, Priyanka Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi weren't even interested in meeting the flood victims. They were rather holidaying in Ladakh to rather suit their political campaign. So people have seen what the last 2 years of the Congress government have been like. And it was also a very slim majority Congress government. We also what happened in the Rajya Sabha elections of Himachal Pradesh, where Abhishek Manu Singh we lost with a two-thirds majority in the assembly. So all in all, Himachal is a very straightforward state. I think Kangana Ranaut is the celebrity candidate this time. Last time we had Kiran Kher from Chandigarh. I think it will be a 4-0. It will be called out. I think Himachal Pradesh, I don't think it will be an exaggeration to say it will be the first state to be called out in the favor of the BJP.
Piyush, confidence or overconfidence by Tushar? What does your research say?
More on the same lines, but except for the Mandi seat, where we have kept close watch because we see a good battle there. Because what we have seen is there's a loyal voters among the Rajput communities for the Veerbhadra Singh.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Also, what about the concerns of the...
Can you please repeat the question? I did not get a voice.
Connectivity, infrastructure, development, are these concerns of the people there?
Issue, they are asking for, they are not getting the desired price for the export, whatever the export price. And also, there's some dissent among the youth about the Agniveer scheme.
Dissent among the youth about the Agniveer scheme. These are the two major schemes, issues, and also a lot of people are from government jobs. So yes, OPS is one of the scheme. On the basis of OPS scheme only, Congress has formed the government.
Pratim Ranjan Bose, do you want to come in on that? The fact that Himachal does have a considerable number of youngsters joining the defense forces, and with this Agniveer scheme, the government has been trying to sort of encourage youngsters to join through that, facing a lot of resentment on ground.
Agniveer, of course, it's one practice that was there, and certain states had been major beneficiaries somehow, or let us say a culture had had taken place in those states. It is not merely Himachal, Bihar, Punjab, many areas, a couple of states. So this is one friction point, one disappointment that those places have, which earlier used to fill up the ranks in army. Now that the scheme has been open to almost everyone, those quotas have gone. So that is how anyone can come in. And the Sarkari Nokri has been a huge issue in India for ages, and particularly in areas like hill states and certain states like Bihar. Sarkari Nokri is West Bengal. Sarkari Nokri is a very big thing. So obviously it makes a certain impact there. But I also would like to point out that in all the areas along the Himalayas, there has been unprecedented infrastructure building, and of course in states. But in these Himalayan areas, the infrastructure is really something of another level. These tunnels that is bringing maybe converting 5-hour journey into 15 minutes. So these kind of things are definitely the development issue should get some kind of a anchor over there.
Okay, fair point. Of course, I hail from Himachal Pradesh, so I know that there is, connectivity and infrastructure is something that has been sort of sorted out there over the past few years. But quickly, Tushar, let me get you in and I wrap this up then. The fact that Agniveer scheme is particularly talked about when we talk about the issues of the youngsters in Himachal. Why hasn't the government been able to sort of convey to people what it desired when it started the Agniveer scheme?
No, I think, Shreya, with all humbleness, I think the Agniveer factor is being blown a little out of proportion. It's surprising that the opposition did not discuss Agniveer when it was the Lok Sabha election in Rajasthan or in Uttarakhand or in other parts of the country, even Uttar Pradesh for that matter, 7 phases, Maharashtra also. It's not just about Himachal. But yes, the youth of Himachal need a lot more employment. It's undoubtedly the question. But is Agniveer going to be the deciding factor for any of the seats in Himachal? I don't think so. That's my reading of the ground. I don't think Agniveer will be one of the factors that takes the election away from the BJP. Should the government do more to convince the young minds? Absolutely. Why not? It's a new program. It's a new experiment. There should be several outreach programs. But is it a factor that can help things for the opposition? Absolutely not.
Okay, I think one of the major concerns for Himachalis should be the environment. You've seen floods in Himachal, we've seen rampant construction in the hills. That is something that people should be concerned about, that authorities should be doing much more about. But we'll leave it there. Tushar Gupta, Pratim Ranjan Bose and Piyush Tamar, thank you very much to all of you gentlemen for joining us on Mirror Now and sharing your thoughts on Phase 7 of the Lok Sabha elections. Of course, we'll have to see what happens on the 1st of June and eventually on the 4th of June when results come in. But on Mirror Now, we will keep getting you the latest and the updates from the Lok Sabha elections. It's a wrap right now. Thank you very much for joining us. Bye-bye. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Road to Lok Sabha 2024, our special show on India's general elections. I'm Shreya Upadhyaya. We've almost reached the end of the elections. The last Phase 7 is all set to take place on the 1st of June with some crucial battles playing out on 57 seats across 7 states and 1 union territory. Political parties are making their last pitches. We discuss this and the issues that concern voters with our panel of guests. But before that, let's quickly get you an overall picture of Phase 7 of the Lok Sabha election. Remember, it's the last phase, an important phase which will see 7 states and 1 union territory going and voting. Let's quickly get those up. Uttar Pradesh, 13 remaining seats going to polls in Phase 7 of the Lok Sabha elections. Apart from that, Punjab, important state, all 13 seats going to polls in Phase 7 of the Lok Sabha elections this time around. West Bengal, the 9 remaining seats also go to polls in this phase. Apart from these 3 states, Bihar has 8 seats. Important seats there as well, and crucial political battles playing out there. Remember, with important issues at play, Odisha with its 6 seats also going to polls in Phase 7. Apart from that, the 3 remaining seats of Jharkhand also voting on the 1st of June in the last phase of the Lok Sabha elections. Himachal Pradesh, all 4 seats going to polls in Phase 7. Apart from them, these are the states. Apart from that, of course, Chandigarh also going to polls in Phase 7 of the Lok Sabha elections. Let's quickly begin with Punjab and get you the key issues in that state. Remember, a political fight, 4-cornered political fight is what we'll see in Punjab. But before that, let's quickly get you the unresolved farmer crisis. That's one of the key issues that will play out in Punjab. A major issue, in fact, last elections, whether or not it still has an impact, we'll have to see. Demands for MSP and rural debt by the farmers remains an issue in the state of Punjab. Apart from the farmer issues, the agrarian crisis, the drug abuse crisis also remains an important concern in the state of Punjab. Very, very important. And it's been going on for decades. The BSF state face-off over security also is a concern that is there in the state of Punjab. Apart from this, the revival of separatist sentiments. Remember, Khalistan, the issue of Khalistan and Khalistani terrorists still remains a big issue, remains a national security issue, not just an issue that pertains to Punjab. The closure of the India-Pakistan trade route also remains a big concern for the people of the state. These by far are the key issues. Adding to that is the power and water crisis. These two challenges that remain a big concern, especially during this time, the heat wave that northern India is seeing. Power and water woes are something that the people of Punjab have been very, very concerned about. These remain the key issues in Punjab. And of course, there are crucial political fights that will be panning out in Punjab. Let's talk more about Punjab with my guests on the show. Tushar Gupta, political analyst; Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist; Pratim Ranjan Bose, senior journalist and columnist; and Piyush Tawar, research head, ETG. They're all joining me on the show this evening. Welcome to all of you. Good evening. Tushar, let me start with you. Punjab remains a four-cornered political battle between the BJP, Congress, Aam Aadmi Party and Shiromani Akali Dal. How do you see this really playing out, considering the kind of major issues like farmer issues and the agrarian crisis that we've seen in the past?
Look, the politics of Punjab has changed a lot since 2019. The Shiromani Akali Dal is no longer with the BJP. The BJP is going alone. But the Congress is also a very different party. Now, Captain Amarinder Singh is no longer with the Congress. In fact, his wife is continuing to contest from Patiala as she's the sitting MP, Praneet Kaur. So she's now fighting on a BJP ticket. So Neil Chakar is now with the BJP, who was a big Hindu leader in Punjab. We look at the Aam Aadmi Party, they are now a significant player in the state. So it's a four-way contest. But even in this four-way contest, the dynamics are very, very different from the 2022 election, the state election, or the 2019 Lok Sabha election. However, what makes this four-way corner fight interesting is now it will become more about the candidates, the kind of connect the voters have with the candidates. In Patiala, Praneet Kaur obviously has a better chance of winning. In Ludhiana, there have been some imports by the BJP. In Jalandhar, there has been the sitting up MP who moved to the BJP. So all in all, in Punjab, it will be a four-cornered contest which will benefit absolutely no one. And that is where it becomes important that who your candidate is. And that is why you saw BJP being very, very serious about the candidates. How do I look at the prospects of the BJP? It's very hard to say. But nevertheless, they should be able to retrieve at least those seats like Ludhiana, Jalandhar, Gurdaspur, even Patiala for that matter. 4 of the 13 seats, the BJP is in a position to win. But since it's a four-way contest, a very small margin can make things here and there. So it's very hard to say, but it's a very unique state going to polls this time.
Okay. Rashid Kidwai, Aam Aadmi Party is, of course, going to be looking at sustaining in Punjab, Punjab being just another state after Delhi that Aam Aadmi Party is governing currently. But the kind of infighting and the kind of fights that Aam Aadmi Party and Congress have been having, do you think that's going to have an impact this time around? Mr. Kidwai, are you able to hear me? All right, we'll try and fix that issue with Mr. Kidwai's network there. But let me go across to Pratim Ranjan Bose. Pratim Ranjan Bose, your views on the fact that, the Aam Aadmi Party and Congress are in alliance when we talk about the opposition India bloc. But when we see the case of Punjab, you have them, fighting against each other. And the kind of tussle, of course, the Aam Aadmi Party as well as the Congress Party has been seeing within their party ranks as well.
That's a fait accompli almost everywhere because, if you are targeting the same voter group, then obviously, and those who have benefited out of your weaknesses or disintegration over the past, they will not try to, they will not share those benefits with you. And they will try to leverage you for power at the center. So this is a very typical situation for Congress. When Congress will try to revive, they have to go solo. They have to try to go solo more and more. Look at the way that BJP followed during its rise. They came with so many coalition partners and slowly they grew and overtook the coalition partners. So look at any other state, even at a state level, you look at Mamta, she came with a coalition, the Grand Alliance, but then took everything in. So that is a fait accompli. Congress has to face that.
Tushar, for Shiromani Akali Dal, this is their first election after their patriarch Prakash Singh Badal, an important one. They've been pitching the Punjabi identity and the Panth identity in their manifesto and campaigning as well. Do you think it's going to work out for them? How do you see that really moving forward in Punjab?
Look, Punjab again, as for the Shiromani Akali Dal, it's not going to be an easy contest. Last time also in 2019, Harsimrat Kaur Badal barely managed to save her seat. And that was a very easy election comparatively for the BJP and the Shiromani Akali Dal. So it's not going to be easy for the Shiromani Akali Dal as well. What could be the big upset, however, is if Harsimrat Kaur Badal or Sukhbir Singh Badal end up losing their seats, which probably won't happen. But that's the only upset you can look at. If Shiromani Akali Dal is not able to secure even 4 of the 13 seats in Punjab, at least 1/3 of them, then they have serious thinking to do. Because the problem with the Shiromani Akali Dal is now they attract a very simple core vote, which is not a lot of vote. The Dalit Sikh vote is shifting away from them. The Hindu vote is shifting away from them, which earlier used to come to them because of the BJP, at least some part of it. The other used to go to the Congress. For the Shiromani Akali Dal, now this time the challenge will be, can they retain their core vote base? And while retaining that core vote base, can they get some more votes? Because in a four-way contest, if they are not getting any other vote apart from the core vote, they are going to be in serious trouble, even in their own seats. So that is the story of Punjab this time. You don't know who may end up where. In a four-corner contest, even the weakest candidate ends up winning sometimes because the voter is so divided. And one thing that is bugging everyone, especially the voters on the ground in Haryana, in Chandigarh, in Delhi, is that why would the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress not enter into an alliance? A three-way contest where the AAP and the Congress would have fought together against Shiromani Akali Dal and the BJP would have benefited the AAP and the Congress. But the Aam Aadmi Party and Congress also go in different ways in Punjab. It will hamper their prospects also. Together they could have managed 6 seats, 7 seats each. Now they'll have to contest with the BJP. And mind you, BJP, what works for the BJP this time in Punjab, and that's the only thing, is now that the memories of that entire farmer protest are no longer that fresh. Since you started the show with that question, the anger on the farm issues is not that much. People understand that the farming in Punjab needs to evolve. It can not only be an MSP dependent system, it has to evolve and the government has to come in at some point. And more importantly, the candidates. Shreya, again, going back to the candidates, because this election, the 13
I don't know,
seats
Tushar,
in
if
Punjab,
that's been understood, because this time around also we saw the farmers protesting. Perhaps, that the impact of it might have weakened, but that concern still persists among farmers in Punjab. Pratim Ranjan Bose, I'd like you to come in on this. The farmers still having those concerns which they had long back, perhaps that impact is not being seen so much on ground this time around, but they have been protesting. The Kisan unions did come, they did protest, they blocked the railway tracks. All of that did happen this time around as well.
Obviously, it is there. It is simmering, and the seat chart, basically the whole farmer protest, though we say farmer protest, it was basically seat chart protest. And that segment united for different reasons. Jats they had their own reasons. It was more political because what is happening in Haryana. They are against giving up the power. So it will remain. It is not the only thing that will, farmer protest is one of the tools that will there. And in Punjab and Haryana, of course, this MSP-based system that had long been patronized. So it is not easy to go. It will be there.
Okay, let me get in Piyush on this. Piyush, when we talk about issues, and here we're talking about the farmers' concerns, the farmers' protests that have happened, this time around, have they seen much of an impact among voters on ground in Punjab? Apart from farmers' issues, you also have the drug abuse crisis that Punjab grapples with. In terms of issues, what are we looking at really this time?
Shreya ji, first of all, to understand Punjab, so what we do is we categorize the entire state. We have a Doab region, we have a Malwa region, we have Majha region. So mostly the farmer issues were concentrated in Malwa region, because that is called as Jamindari belt. And also, like, in terms of voter turnout, so what we see is the Sikh voter and a non-Sikh voter, like, to understand what's the, what's the political scenario there and how the voter will turn out towards which party. So now in Punjab, what we have seen, it's like there are four parties, a four corner contest. And what we have seen on the ground, like as you have mentioned, the farmer issue, yes, it is there, but not seen. The impact is lowered now. We don't see that much impact. The separatism impact, not much. So if you if I want to give an example, see, when 2019 election, what we have seen in Punjab, Congress got 8 Lok Sabha seats. Congress won 8 seats, BJP 2, Akali 2, and AAP 1. But when in 2022 assembly election, Congress was totally swept out by the Aam Aadmi Party, because when I was on the ground, what we have seen, that badlav chahiye. They have seen Aam Aadmi Party as a hope. But now I can clearly see on the ground, and also it reflects in the data, that they feel cheated by the Aam Aadmi Party. See, I'm not saying, like, it's a word from the people. They say कि भाई इससे अच्छा तो कांग्रेस ही था, because now what they say on the ground, that drug abuse on rampant and corruption is on rampant. Corruption is a major issue in the Punjab, and mostly the bureaucracy and the MLAs were involved in that. That's on the ground. That's the narrative on the ground. Yes.
Okay. Tushar, as per Piyush, of course, interesting find there, interesting research that they've done, the fact that there is perhaps some sort of anti-incumbency against the AAP government in Punjab. There is some sort of disillusionment as well.
Well, it will have to show. Look, it's still just about 2 years since the Aam Aadmi Party has taken over. Needless to say, the law and order has gone for a toss. The financial status of Punjab has gone for a toss. Arvind Kejriwal likes to go around town claiming that free electricity in Punjab is a revolution, but it's not. The state is in dire need of raising revenues, raising its tax base, raising its tax coverage. It's not happening. So my worry is that the anti-incumbency against the Aam Aadmi Party is beginning to show. However, we still have to look. 2 years is a very less time for the voter anger to build. Again, can Aam Aadmi Party collaborate with the Congress for a strategic vote transfer? Clearly, that's also not on the cards, because Arvind Kejriwal has been very vocal in his interview saying that we do not want to ally with the Congress. Bhagwant Mann himself has been very critical of the Congress party. Charanjit Singh Channi, who was the former chief minister, has been critical of the AAP. So, the perception amongst people is that Aam Aadmi Party and Congress are unable to work together. They want to build a government in the center. There they cannot work together. Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab hasn't been able to do anything different to raise employment, increase industrialization. That they cannot help. They see Arvind Kejriwal is in jail on corruption charges. They see what Raghav Chadda was doing while he was interfering with Bhagwant Mann's administration. So there are a lot of factors which work against AAP. The only thing that can work for the AAP is it's just been 2 years. So people may not want to be that harsh. What works for the BJP is that they can sort of galvanize this anger into some sort of vote. You spoke about the farm issue also. One thing we need to understand, the Jat Sikh vote is anyway with the Shiromani Akali Dal. It's not going to come to the BJP anyway. It has never come to the BJP. So that vote is anyway not coming to the BJP. So the anger may be there, may not be there. That doesn't work for the BJP. What BJP would want is some of the core Hindu vote to come to them, because 45 to 50% of the population in Punjab is Hindu. Can the BJP extract some vote from there? That's the big question they'll be asking in Amritsar, where Taranjit Singh Sandhu is fighting.
Let me take this to Piyush. Piyush, has BJP been able to impact the Hindu vote in Punjab? Have they been able to tap into that segment?
Definitely. So what we see is making a course and
but what I feel is BJP is in a good contest on 4 to 5 seats. And it might go up, but 4 to 5 seats, they're in good contest. And especially because of the Hindu voters. I won't say Hindu voters are like Sikh and non-Sikh voters, including Muslims, which are like almost no cousins. So it's like Sikh versus non-Sikh. BJP is able to consolidate non-Sikh voters. And I would say seats like Gurdaspur and then Hoshiarpur, then you have Ludhiana, then you have Patiala, then you have Jalandhar. These are on good fight. BJP might gain or might not. I won't say right now I won't reveal.
Okay. Okay, let me also quickly talk about Chandigarh. Pratim Ranjan Bose, if Punjab has seen AAP versus Congress, Chandigarh has seen BJP versus AAP, especially in the mayoral polls that we saw that whole tussle playing out. How much of that is being seen by people and, being a concern there when they go out to vote?
This is a difficult question. Uh, One way, generally it should not. Generally it should not. But very honestly, I have a little, touch with Chandigarh, or haven't really explored that issue, that to what extent it can do.
Okay. Let me then ask Tushar. Tushar, AAP versus BJP playing out in Chandigarh, the mayoral poll tussle. Yeah, I'm sure on this as to how people are really viewing this tussle. Finally you had the returning officer being accused, being pulled up by the court as well. People have been seeing all of that tussle playing out.
Just a fun fact, I am from Chandigarh, and that is where I will be voting come this weekend. So Chandigarh is a very interesting case scenario because one, you have a Congress stalwart fighting on behalf of the Congress, and now they still have an alliance together. But interestingly, when Manish Tiwari was given the ticket from Congress, a lot of cadre of the Congress had it's shown its resentment. They had resigned, and they were with Pawan Kumar Bansal, who was the former MP from Chandigarh between 2004 and 2014. He lost the 2014 election. So for Manish Tiwari, it was all about getting the AAP cadre together and running a campaign. Now, the problem is Manish Tiwari has come from the adjacent constituency of Anandpur Sahib. That's a baggage he carries, that he's a constituency hopper. The person he's up against, Sanjay Tandon, he's a local leader. You may not have heard about him in the last 10 years, but he's the man who's been running the show quietly behind the curtains and rather with great efficiency. He's well known in Himachal, in Punjab, in Haryana, even in Delhi to a certain extent, and in Chandigarh. In Chandigarh, he has a local connect with a lot of families because his politics goes back decades. So clearly in Chandigarh, one of the factors that is working is the outsider versus insider, which is ironical, but that's how it is. Number two, the people see the national factor as well. They see Modi, they see the Prime Minister, they see the leadership. Manish Tiwari is going house to house and trying to make it a hyper local campaign, but that's not really working for him because every time he tries to localize the campaign, people ask him one simple question: "You are not from here. You are from Anandpur Sahib. You wanted to fight Ludhiana, and you were making all these sorts of claims." Sanjay Tandon, however, offers a very credible face. What will work for Sanjay Tandon is one, the Modi factor. Modi factor is huge in Chandigarh. In 2014, also there was the AAP factor. In 2019, there was the AAP factor. And then the Congress and AAP were not in alliance. It was a three-way contest. And yet the BJP's candidate came up with flying colors with over 50% of the vote share. So the Modi factors works every time in the Lok Sabha elections. Mind you, this is also one of those constituencies which votes only once in 5 years. There's no state assembly election here. So every time they vote, they're looking at the national factor. So Modi factor becomes, of course, very, very huge here. And I think that is what Sanjay Tandon will have an edge with, his own local connect, the national factor. And I think he should be registered.
Tushar, also help me understand, since you are from Chandigarh, very briefly, when you see it from the outside, Chandigarh seems like a very organized, full of infrastructure, doesn't need much there, kind of a city. But what are the issues that really plague people of Chandigarh?
Look, at the end, you have to understand Chandigarh is a very, very small city. It's just 110 square kilometers in terms of UT. So if you look at the vicinity of Chandigarh, a lot of villages are there. There's a lot of small villages. We are not talking about villages as big as they are in, say, Uttar Pradesh or Bihar. So you need the basic necessities there. You need the welfare programs to run properly there. And that has been happening within the urban area, within the sectors, so as to say. You need the infrastructure to be maintained. That's the biggest challenge for any MP in Chandigarh, that they need to ensure that things need to be in status quo, that it only gets better. It doesn't get depleted. The maintenance is there, the cleanliness is there, the organization is there, and more employment opportunities are created. It's always seen or heard that people say that Chandigarh is not big on services, but Chandigarh as a city is big on education in terms of economy, in terms of healthcare. So these factors are there, but what the voters of Chandigarh really want is someone who can get the basic needs done properly, maintain the city, maintain the status quo, and work with the central government. And that is again where Sanjay Tandon has a very, very clear advantage.
Okay, talking about basic needs, let me shift our focus now to Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. And let's start with Bihar. Piyush, talking about issues with the constituencies that are going to polls in phase 7 from Bihar. Important issues remain there as well, apart from, of course, the crucial political battles that will be played out in seats such as Patna Sahib and Patliputra and all of that. But before that, I want to talk about the issues there and what you have found out really, are the concerns of the voters. Employment, I know, remains one big issue.
True. Yes. So we have seen the unemployment is a major issue in Bihar, and as we have seen Tejasvi Yadav coming and saying that we have given 5 lakh jobs for when they were in the power for I think 1 or 2 years, and then they are saying कि अगर हम अभी और फिर से power में आते तो हम इतना job दे देंगे and all those promises, and we have seen yes he is gaining a lot of traction from the youth. But still, I would say that still the Bihar's politics is mostly, dominated by caste factor. So we have seen, like in my previous as a discussion, I have said the Bihar is totally dominated by caste, and we have seen the MY factor, Muslim and Yadav, and they have also tried to shed their image as a Muslim Yadav, and they have said that we are like my Bap image, like Muslim Yadav, then like Bahujan, Agadi, and then they said we'll include women's, that Adi Abadi, and then Pichhada. But still we see, even though they say we are with all other communities or with a party who represent all other communities, but still in Bihar, Tejasvi Yadav or the RJD and the Congress, they're still perceived as a MY, Muslim and Yadav vote bank or vote-based party. So yeah, in Bihar we see issues, but
and that,
not
course,
affecting this time elections or.
Pratim Ranjan Bose remains one sort of interesting feature there in Bihar. You go to the youngsters there, you go to youth, you go to people, they'll tell you their issues, that there is no employment, we need jobs, we need basic infrastructure and all of that. But when they go out to vote in the polling booths, what dominates is perhaps the caste factor.
Not perhaps. It is the caste factor that dominates. That is very unfortunate truth. And I often say that, and not anymore true, but in West Bengal, there was a situation once upon a time when people were divided by parties. It was called a party society. But Bihar is probably a caste society, 100%, almost. This is something. So all these discussions we have about development, not development, etc., they don't really cut much ice. But I'm really hoping, going by the campaign, I'm really hoping by that Jan Swarajya Party, if they can bring some change that way, at least in their campaign, they are trying to be different. BJP also focused on certain areas on development and etc. One good thing, what extent, I haven't gone into the deeper data, but in 2019, there was women voted in favor of BJP. So that was BJP and BJP, JDU, the coalition. So that was one social factor that we saw. Probably that is the only commonality that we find in Bihar in recent years, along with the rest of India, that women are taking more interest in decision making. But other than that, I'm really, the rest of it is these AMY, etc., etc.
Okay. Tushar, talking about the political battles on the seats that are going to polls in phase 7, Patliputra remains an interesting battle. You've got Misa Bharti, who lost in the previous elections by a thin margin, versus BJP's Ram Kripal Yadav, who's of course aiming for a hat-trick this time around. How do you see that really panning out?
Is this question for me?
Yes, Tushar. Tushar, are you able to hear me?
Okay. See, in Bihar, again, I think I agree with Pratiranjan Bose rather reluctantly, but he's right. the caste factor dominates. So if Meesa Bharti is standing, of course, the caste factor becomes very, very dominant. But in Bihar, something interesting is happening, and the first signs of it were shown in 2020 assembly elections. The women are now voting for welfare and not for caste. That is where, again, the Modi welfare program there becomes a big factor as to how women will vote. You look at PM Awas Yojana, you look at Jal Jeevan Mission, Ujjwala Yojana. When we mapped the entire data on a household level, you realize that Bihar has been the biggest beneficiary of all the welfare schemes of the Prime Minister, even the Jal Jeevan Mission, which started after the 2019 elections. So in Bihar, you can actually factor in the caste aspect, which will matter to a certain extent. But if you're talking about the margins are going to be decided by the women voter, and the women voter are rock solid behind the Prime Minister. We saw it in 2020 in Bihar. We saw it in 2022 in Uttar Pradesh. We've seen it in Madhya Pradesh. We are seeing it now also. When you look at the margins in Bihar, it's going to be the women voter. I think that will be the story of this election, this phase also, because all the seats you're looking at, all of them were swept by the JDU and the BJP. So the caste factor may dent into the BJP vote a bit. In some seats, say the Meesa Bharti seat, but when I'm looking at the margins, I'm just focused on the women voters.
And do you think that, and we've talked about it in the past as well, the Palturam factor that plays out in Bihar this time around, too, in phase 7, do you think that's going to have some sort of influence?
Well, see, the Palturam factor, I think we discussed it on your show, Shreya, just a week back. And again, I have the same theory that any anger against the JDU will only shift towards the BJP. So if there is anger against the JDU, be it this year or the next year's assembly elections, it's going to benefit the BJP. I don't think the core voter of the JDU is making up their mind to vote for the RJD or even for the Congress or AIM or any other party. So the BJP also understands that there is a certain degree of anger. In fact, many of the BJP supporters and observers and journalists was rather surprised when BJP just sort of were happy with 17 seats in the coalition equation. But any anger against JDU won, the Modi factor will help dilute it. But even if the anger doesn't convert into votes for the JDU, those voters will shift towards the BJP. Now, the only problem is in the seats where the JDU is contesting, not the LJP or the BJP, but JDU is contesting. One can only hope for the BJP that the anger is not that much that the voter either doesn't come out to vote, is demotivated to vote, or the RJD factor becomes a little strong. That would be the only worry for the BJP. But I think JDU's litmus test is now. Is JDU still relevant in the Bihar political game? I think this election will be the litmus test for that before the big assembly election next year.
Do you think, Pratim Ranjan Bose, this is also a test for Chirag Paswan this time around? The fact that he's to take his father's legacy forward. Everybody's been talking about Tejasvi Yadav, we in the media have also been talking about it. The people have been talking about it, but is there something to look at when we think about Chirag Paswan and the LJP?
Okay. Yeah, Chirag Paswan has been coming in and out of NDA, and he has been some sort of unhappy guy. He was restless to do his things. He has been trying for his luck. It is definitely his litmus test because he has to prove that he has the mettle in him to stand up. He has been trying to take over part of the JDU's constituency for quite some time. But it hasn't worked out well so far. There is a reason why BJP couldn't trust on him after Nitish Kumar went for RJD a couple of years ago. So this is a fact.
All right, let me shift our focus now to Uttar Pradesh. Tushar, Uttar Pradesh, of course, is going to polls on the remaining seats that are there in phase 7. But, talking about the alliance that has happened between Samajwadi Party and Congress, how is that being really viewed on ground?
No, I don't think the alliance will have really any big impact on the BJP. Even if you look at the last time, the vote share in percentage points jumped for the BJP. There was an increase. It wasn't like the Samajwadi Party or the Congress could really get anything out of them. One thing we need to understand also, Shreya, is that Congress is no longer a player in Uttar Pradesh. Barring one seat of Rai Bareli, we need to start acknowledging the fact that this could well be the Lok Sabha election where the Congress is reduced to an absolute zero in the state of Uttar Pradesh. So that leaves the BJP competing with the BSP, which is seemingly like a friendly contest, or the Samajwadi Party, or the other smaller parties. Congress is no longer a factor. So if you're looking at the NY factor in certain seats, that is where Samajwadi versus BJP becomes a fight. But if you're looking at the Congress versus the BJP angle, I think beyond Rai Bareli, that is nowhere. What Congress has done to Uttar Pradesh, the whole confusion now, Rai Bareli and Amethi, will Rahul fight, will he not fight, using the state as a second fiddle after Kerala's Wayanad. I think Congress's story in Uttar Pradesh is pretty much over. On June 4th, I hope we have an opportunity to talk about it. We should especially focus at how the entire political decimation of the Congress has started since the 90s, since the Ram Mandir movement, after the overturning of the Shah Bano judgment. So I think Congress and Uttar Pradesh is a story in itself. It was unfolding for the last 3 decades. 2024 could be the climax.
Pratim Ranjan Bose, do you resonate with that, number one? And number two, the fact that the Prime Minister has been campaigning in Uttar Pradesh, his constituency is one of the most crucial battles that's going to be playing out in Phase 7. Varanasi, the constituency, of course, he's been winning and he's going to look for another term from there. But how do you see this really playing out in Phase 7?
I hope you are asking me, right?
Yes, Mr. Bose.
Hello.
Are you able to hear me, Mr. Bose?
Yeah, I can hear you now. So, I let me start by agreeing partly with Tushar that that Congress see the same story as in Punjab, where in Punjab, AAP is not giving space to AAP is not ready to join hands with the Congress for the reason that if they are sharing or targeting the same constituency. Similarly, look at the problem in Uttar Pradesh. If Congress has to become stronger in Uttar Pradesh, it is SP that has to be weaker. Clearly. Will SP leave that space out for Congress? No. Back to BJP's case, I see BJP will surely do well this year, and they are expecting to increase their tally by a couple of seats. There is only one factor that is remaining, there is probably lack of opposition in Uttar Pradesh, and for India's largest state, the opposition is not practically not there. So that is creating a void, which might work against BJP at some point of time. This is my concern. But for this vote, they have no concern. They are going to add a good number of seats.
So you don't think the Congress-SP alliance is having much of an impact as an opposition there in the state?
It is, see, at this very moment, the Modi-Jogi factor has taken over. Uttar Pradesh is one state where the double-engine Sarkar has proved beyond doubt. So at this moment, it is not going to work, except in certain pockets. So BJP is going to have a complete run over.
Okay. All right. I'm going to leave Uttar Pradesh here, but I'm going to slip into a short break and come back and discuss Odisha, that interesting battle between the BJP and BJD playing out. Do stay tuned to Mirror Now.